Fellows, guests, and friends, you know that my favorite words are LatBAN is never late. So it's time to start, actually. Please take your seats. For the people of the back of the audience, same for the right, please take your seats. We are starting. Today we have our third workshop under the Angels course, specially designed by Latvian business angels for Latvian business angels. Thanks for the support of Ministry of Economics. They help us not just to create this course for free, but also to provide really good, really great experience for our members. And once again, thanks for the support to SEB Innovation Center, the beautiful and cozy venue we are currently here in. What to expect today? First of all, thank you for joining us today, because it means that you're still not losing trust to our Angels course and you visited the third workshop. Today, we are going to talk not about the startups, the startup pitch, the startup business. We will be focusing strictly and straightly on the venture deals. We won't be talking about business model, about, let's say, revenue streams, nothing like that. Only deals, only deal terms and conditions, how to negotiate and how to structure the proper investment deal with an early stage startup. Our traditional pitch session, this time we will have once again 3 Latvian and 1 Estonian incorporated in Estonia startup. And after that, as usual, we are welcoming you to join our networking dinner very close to this venue, Rione Restaurant, with unlimited pizza. Last time we tried this option and definitely the pizza was unlimited. So get prepared. To warm up the audience, I want to ask you a traditional question. Not what is a startup, but how can you define a venture deal in a very plain and simple wording? Go on. What is a venture deal? Vadim?
Money for money.
Money for what?
For money.
In the future. But in the moment it is, righty?
Venture, you don't know what's the outcome.
Okay, good point. From my experience, it's just a simple exchange. We give money and founders give us something. What? You can say that it is money in exchange of equity. But I propose you the more exact but still plain and straight definition. In exchange for equity, rights, and some certain terms and conditions with a very small fonts somewhere at the end of the investment agreement. But the most important part for the deal itself and for the investors. Today, we will have only one imaginary use case. All other cases are cases from my own business angels practice, but almost all anonymized. But you can be quite sure that all the numbers I will be talking today derived from the real deal I was involved in, or just been somewhere very near to this deal. As an advisor, just participant of the negotiation, and so on and so forth. So, why I say not only equity, but equity and rights? Any idea? The audience is...
Future sales or purchases of...
Good point. Why don't why is not enough to go with equity only?
Well, because if you're first, you risk more, so you'd like to have some...
And if you are not the first but the second, you are still risking. And even if you are the last investor and you are aiming to jump into the pre-IPO, so-called pre-IPO deal, you are still in a great risk. So not only equity, but some rights. This is not an anonymous example from my practice, because I'm no longer an investor or shareholder in this company. This particular company did a dirty, but in terms of legal terms, very clear trick. I will be talking about it a bit later. So, real life case. Post-seed startup. Post-seed. Already raised 2.2 million, and the post-money valuation was, after the last investment round, 7 million post-money. Very brief explanation. Pre-money valuation and post-money valuation means immediately prior to the deal, let's say this startup valued at, let's say, 5 million. Investor invested 2 million, and the post-money valuation is 7. 5 plus 2. Okay. Incorporated in Estonia. Very good legislation. 3 respected VC funds. And almost half of the equity still owned by the founders. What's wrong? Do you see anything not very good for investors, for startups?
Voting shares given away by founders?
First point.
Yeah, it's like what we talked last time.
Mm-hmm.
When they are in lower shares, they basically have sold everything out and they have lower motivation.
Can shares get diluted somehow?
Mm-hmm. Good point. But the main point is the founders have still a lot of motivation. And maybe the amount of their shares is quite okay. But actually, when imagine that all shares are voting, they already lost the majority of their votes. I mean founders. And the last point, which is actually not reflected on this slide, and I was not aware about this company had a supervisory board under the Estonian law. The supervisory board actually rules everything. And the chief executive officer is just an employee, despite that it is still a founder, doesn't matter. It's just an employee, and he is doing what, let's say, directly ordered by the supervisory board. How I jumped into the equity of this company? It was the very first deal in Belarus when we started our operations as business angels in 2018. It was quite a good and very modern solution how to provide the wireless Bluetooth scanner for your lung sounds, including artificial intelligence or something like that. The only problem was when the company was switched from Belarus to Estonia and get some new investors on board, all previous investors converted their shares into common shares in this equity. And this means that we lose everything. Exactly everything. No rights, no expectations. And when this company faced some problem with attracting new money, those problems immediately raised up. And the supervisory board said, okay, the business model for this company is not so good. We are going to change the business model, so we are going to change the business. So we're closing the Lung Pass company and opening Chest Pel company in the United Kingdom. What about early stage angels who are still in the cap table? Who cares? We asked about opportunity to invest into the UK legal entity. No answer. We asked about opportunity to somehow participate in an investment into still Estonian legal entity. Once again, no answer. Thank you all. The company is closing. The new company, Chest Pel Limited, is opening in the United Kingdom with the same founders, with almost the same set of investors, and with the same intellectual property, which was sold very clear in terms of legal terms. It was sold when the company was dissoluted. The IP was sold to let's say, to the next company under the liquidation preference. So, when we are talking about the deal, Carly?
Would you do a deal with those VC funds or those founders again?
Actually, 2 out of those 3 VC funds are super respectable. 2 out of 3. I'm not dealing anymore with the third, but the first and second are really majors in Europe here. I won't name them exactly, but you can easily track their records, understand who it was, and make some takeaways from this story. The business, once again, may be brilliant, but we are still talking about deals today. So our deal and how it was developed through the time, it was really, really bad. So when we are going to differ good deal from not so good one, what I can propose actually, very 2 straight point. When we invest in company, our main goal for all of us, for investors and for founders, to facilitate the startup growth and to achieve high business traction, high valuation, and then, as a consequence, get some return to early and mid-stage investors and so on and so forth. Money in exchange for growth. From time to time, I hear real myths from the founders and from the business angels, a lot of. I even wrote 2 different articles in Russian, unfortunately, for the Russian media, for Belarusian media, about the myths between founders and investors and how to avoid actually those myths. Did you face something similar during your business angel career? You did.
Both in my personal career, the more money you have, the more you blow it. For startups, certainly. The more they have it, they will do stupid things.
Agreed, exactly. Because from my perspective, money for early stage startup is like food for, let's say, mid-age person. So it may be consumed in the right way and spent to, let's say, provide muscles, provide energy outcome, but also it can be spent to create some belly. This is the real photo from negotiations with the founders. When we are talking about negotiation, from my perspective actually, the most important thing is not to get the very brilliant result or to start with the proper arguments and something like that. For me, the first important thing is to understand what are the real goals and the real value provided by the opposite side. When we talk to founder, the main question and main clear ask from startup founder to investor is what? So what? What founders wants from us actually?
Money for
Money. Stop. Let's keep it simple. They want money. It's a clear and straight ask and need. What let's go deeper. You know this technique named, in Russian, it sounds like "что." In English, I don't know how to translate. So what? Okay, so what, or maybe what for? What is the real reason of your ask? So you ask for money. For what? To spend it for development, marketing, right? No. They are not asking for money to spend it, actually. They are asking for money to, depend on the stage, to check some ideas, to develop some product, to spend on marketing. Once again, for what?
Attract clients, develop increase turnovers, etc.
Find a solution for the problem, I guess.
Sorry, find a solution. Scientists are working to find a solution of something. validate solution. The QA engineers are validating solutions.
Just make money.
Make money. Good point. Okay, so from my point of view, it's quite a real reason to make money. So our intention should be, maybe, to make money first for us and only then for startup founders. Quite a good idea. When we are investing, once again, into startup, our simple goal is to gain some meaningful return. Agreed? But it's the first level goal. What's if we go deeper? Return, we are investing for what? Because we can make money in different ways. And the venture investment is not the very best way to spend our time and our money in terms of clear financial return.
Add value, kind of.
Is it our goal to add value? If we want to add value, we are going to work hands-on for this startup as, doesn't matter, employee or founder, co-founder, something like that. So providing value is just a blah, blah, puffs words. What we actually want. Once again, this is our money. Be a part, not from my perspective. We want actually to have a clear stake and a liquid stake, which we actually can solve, let's say, easily when we want or when we have a chance. A stake in a set of very interesting and rapidly developing businesses. Not one, but a set of. Because I don't know about you. The first thing I understood when I exited from my own company and got a really good pile of money on my bank account, that money means nothing. The only case that when money means something, when someone wants those money from you. So he gets to you and start, doesn't matter, inviting you to get some coffee or to talk at the conference, something like that. Otherwise, if you're hands-on in your business, your own business, or you're a C-level executive, you are a meaningful person. And if not, you're just sitting on a pile of money like many other not so interesting or not so good people. So for you, when you're trying to get into negotiations, try to understand the counterparty's interest, real, deep interest. And what's your real deep goal? How to actually achieve this? In most cases, especially when we are dealing with Russian-speaking investors and founders, especially. Maybe it's kind of similar in the Eastern world. I'm not working with Middle East persons. I'm not working with the Arab world. I'm a European person. I prefer to work with, starting from East to West, with Israeli people, Eastern Europe, the rest of the Europe, and the United States. That's my understanding of business world, not going to the East. For negotiations in a startup world, it's not a zero-sum game, actually. And I cannot say that if I'm negotiating with you and I take a bit more than I want and than I need, and you take less, so the overall balance is not a win-win. Once again, when you're dealing with a venture deal, it's not very similar as our other negotiations about other kind of agreements. When we're buying something, it's in most cases one-time transaction. You sell, I buy, and then goodbye. Agreed? But when we're negotiating the deal with a startup, it's just the beginning. We will be sitting in this company for a long time. And which is much more important, like in the previous case from my own life, you have to preserve the very good relations with the startup founders. Because let's imagine we all syndicated an investment of $500,000, quite a good amount of money. And in the next 2 years, company well developed up to 5 million A round or seed plus round. trust me, the founders will be immediately forget about your 500,000 2 years back, and they will be thinking only about the next possible round, next possible investment. In this case, first of all, we have to fix our rights in the formal agreements, and a bit more important, we have to still keeping a good relations in terms not of just papers, but person-to-person relations. Do you all know the concept of convertible instruments? You all, or not?
No.
Let's, you know that today's topic is really wide. And when I got prepared to this workshop, I understood that it's impossible to pack all the topic into 1.5 hours. So today we will cover most, but not very deep. I suppose that on the next year we will be conducting a series of workshops for experienced angels, so we can pick up the most important topics and get deeper into it. So, very brief introduction into convertibles. But let me start with the question actually about equity financing. We purchase a share or series of shares. In the United States, it's the actual, let's say, actual papers. In Europe, we just possess a share of the company which is in form of, let's say, government registry, but it's still shares. We can say that we are owning some percent of the company, and this percent may actually vary. Dilution, in Russian, размытие, it's the situation when the company issuing new shares, so we still keep ours, the same number of papers, but our share in the company starting to actually decrease. On this slide, you can see the typical, unfortunately for the not typical years, the COVID one and the post-COVID one when all this craziness start. But the typical amount of percent of the company is sold during the seed, Series A, and so on rounds. You see that the range is actually not so wide, starting from 14% and up to 26%, maybe. It's a really narrow, really narrow range. So you understand when we are talking about the valuation, it's just a synthetic number, which is much more important. How much money do we invest in this company, and what amount of equity we actually get? So divide 1 by 2, or maybe multiply, you will have an imaginary valuation of the company. But the real numbers are only money and percent of the equity. When venture capitalists start to negotiate with the startup founders, you know that for us, valuation is not very important because we understand that it is not a real metric. For founders, it's completely different. The one thing they can say, my company is valued at 5 million. Completely different thing that their company is valued at 50. It's quite interesting. I tried to calculate one time what is the real wealth of me and what is the paper wealth of startup founders I'm investing in. And you know what? On papers, most of them were more rich people than I, actually, because I have the real money, small money, really humble money. And they have a huge but paper valuations. That's quite interesting. That's quite good. We are not going to heavily negotiate any valuation. So we invented convertibles and especially convertible loans. Let's skip the previous slide. Convertible loans and very different situations under the SAFE, Simple Agreement for Future Equity. The same this one was invented by Y Combinator in the United States. This one, I don't remember from what, 500 startups maybe. ASA, this abbreviation is for the United Kingdom Advanced Subscription Agreement, which means we are paying money to subscribe, once again, for future equity. And something more. First of all, the real convertible instrument is a form of debt financing, despite the fact that we are actually not going to get our money back. We're going to get equity in the future. The main point, it is a form of debt, so it can be accounted on our papers by our accountant as a debt with a clear valuation. So we invested 100K, and it is stated on our balance sheet as a 100K. If we invest in equity, you have to do the reconciliation or revaluation once a year, some kind of assessment to understand what is the real value on your balance sheet. With a debt form, it's quite, let's say, a real number of money already invested. Next point, convertible, because those debt intended and designed especially to be converted in equity in future under some conditions. And real convertible note may be asked for repayment, but it's a really rare case. It's just a very interesting situation that during this autumn, September, October, and November, I've got in the same time, three portfolio startups with achieved maturity date. And the question raised, should we take equity or should we prolong the term of these convertible loans, or should we ask for a payment? And it's a tricky question actually, because not a single one from these three have enough cash flow to, or money on bank account to repay. And surprisingly, the one company which is doing great, the LatBAN Finance, they have enough cash on their account, and in case we want to do it, we can get it repaid. But our investment was not a convertible, but straight equity in the deal with LatBAN Finance. Very interesting. How many co-investors to LatBAN we have in this room? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, including me, 5. It's quite good. What is better for us, to be a shareholder or to be a creditor? What do you think?
To have the option of to be a creditor, but an option to be a shareholder.
Agreed. But to getting the straight question, we are in one company shareholders as investors. And what are the reasons?
Ultimate is shareholder.
Uh-huh. Actually, I prefer to be a shareholder, but that's my personal attitude. I don't want to lend money for some people. Doesn't matter, it's a clear lending or just a convertible. So, main terms for the convertible loans. They are extremely simple. Let's start with the valuation cap. This is the maximum valuation we're going to valuate this exact company in future when we're investing today. So we won't be converted in the higher number of valuation. Discount is just from 15 to 25, the typical number is 20. The discount of valuation during the next financing round, this company will gain. And so we provided money in advance, and this means that our money should be working a bit better than later investors, so we've got a discount. Interest rate typically from 4 to 6%. Just an annual interest rate we gain as for the all other kind of loans. And very important two provisions. What is the qualified financing round? Is the round when this company actually will be valued at the real numbers. So the first real equity deal after our investment, of course. Maturity date, what So when and what to do if the company failed to get this qualified round. Example, once again, from my own practice. 20% of discount, valuation cap 12 million. So you can understand that it was not a pre-seed startup, but already well-developed seed, maybe even seed plus one. Interest rate doesn't matter. We wanted to achieve the 2 million, very important notice, in fresh capital, not counted all the previous money. And for 24 months, 2 years, in case that the business development will not be so strong as expected, we will be converting at a 5 million post-money valuation. This is very important because when you are getting into the deal and setting the so-called maturity valuation cap, it's better to set it as a post-money valuation, not pre-money valuation. And two very straight and simple scenarios. First case, they will get, let's say, quite a good valuation at 10 million. So our discount is 20%. We are converting at 8 million pre-money. Can you quickly calculate in your head what percentage of company shares we will get, roughly? How much? Once again, we invested 400K and converts at 8 million of pre-money valuation. 4.7, I suppose, 4.7. How to calculate this amount? Divide 400, but by what? By 8 million? No, 8.4. So your money should be added to the pre-money valuation, and then you get the clear understanding. This is not the very real number because our money was not the only 400K invested. So the share percentage will be a bit lower, but it's quite okay for understanding. Did you remember? 4.7%. Second possible scenario. They will get a really huge valuation for seed plus at 20 million. For A round, 20 million valuation is not so good, but let's assume. We accrued some interest, so we are converting at 12 million because the valuation cap worked. We agreed on the 12 million valuation cap. What will be our share percentage? A bit less than 4%, but more than 3%. And the third scenario, not desirable one. The company actually failed to attract new money. 2 years passed. So what should we do? We have an option. We can convert at our preliminary agreed 5 million. Sorry, it should be post money, not pre. It's my mistake. And the second option, ask this convertible loan to be repaid. What actually you want to choose on this modeling case? Your choice. Quiet, once again. Quiet audience. What actually you want?
Well, if they failed.
I didn't say they failed in business. I said that they failed to attract new investment.
But if they tried it and they failed, means that they needed it. So if they didn't get it, means that it's a bad deal, most likely.
Yeah. But quite surprising, this company may become a good cash cow. They can lose their potential of growth, but then still can generate a huge amount of free cash flow. In this case, this particular company generates almost 1 million in free cash flow annually. So quite a good of having, let's say, some stake in this kind of company. But unfortunately, they're working in not very sexy sector. So we cannot expect that they double or triple their earnings. We can expect that it will be flat and start to quietly declining after the years. So difference on this table between convertibles and equity. You can easily understand how it works. And by the way, there is no need to make your photos. If you don't want to do this immediately after our workshop, we will send you in our Telegram group the PDF with our slides. 2 words about SAFE. It was invented in the United States by Y Combinator, the famous and the only real accelerator in the world. The main letter is simple because, first of all, you cannot change in SAFE text anything. You can just put the name of company, name of founders, your name, numbers, and sign. This is strictly prohibited to change the real legal clauses in the SAFE agreement. So we can 4 different SAFEs. I remember 3 only. Discounted, valuation capped. The third one is discount plus valuation cap. And the very important and interesting thing, MFN, most favored nation. That means you say, please take my money and somewhere in future, when someone will invest significant amount of money with a priced round, so the company will be valued, I have to get enough shares under the same most favorable condition as the other investors have. Very simple, really simple understanding. Looks really good, works really bad for investors. Because of what? Did I create this slide? This one. First of all, no maturity date. So the conversion may not occur in the unpredictable future. Second, it's not a debt. It could not be repaid. You cannot ask for getting your money back. Not so good point. But for me, the main painful point is this one. No information rights at all. So for some cases, you can expect that immediately during the priced round, this company will be sued in a number of court hearings because of different problems they have not informed their early investors about, and so on and so forth. You know that in the United States, you start competing in the court only when the money is on the table. Without money, no one is going to pay American lawyers. Okay, switching to the deal terms and conditions itself. You feel that we're going a bit more quick than we need. Once again, I really want to get deeper in each topic, but the time is limited and the stuff is, we have too much stuff, actually. Let's get to the structuring of the deal with a very, very important disclaimer. Don't try to structure a venture deal without a lawyer. Because once again, all of us can read huge piles of paper stuff. No problem. We can understand anything. But if you're going without a lawyer, so the only person you can blame is you, actually, because you can expect a lot of problems. Maybe not only for you, for the startup itself.
But it needs to be a lawyer that has experience in this, because if they don't know convertible versus safe versus...
Exactly. And the problem is that, unfortunately, in Latvia, we have, I discovered, only 2 guys, only 2 lawyers who are really experienced in supporting real venture deals. All others are just pretend to be. They declare, let's say, Cobalt says, we have a department and 3 associates are quite experienced in venture deals. I don't give a shit.
Could you name them?
Sorry?
Could you name them?
I can. At least I can name one. Yanis Bogdasarovs. a really good guy. He's not practicing for open market. He have quite a good employment in a fintech structure, and he provides his services only to friends and at a really crazy price. But he's really very good. All others, except one I tried, they pretend to be and they're trying to, but they are not experienced one. So term sheet is the brief and clear substitution of all those piles of paper. By the way, how many documents should you sign, let's say main documents, during the venture deal? Could you count? Investment agreement, agreed? The first one. And each investment agreement have the, what's the word? The modeling documents inside. Shareholders agreement and article of associations. 3 most important docs. And each one can be up to 90 or 100 of sheets. So 300 of sheets, it's quite okay for structuring a deal. A single copy, I mean. So term sheet is really simple. At the end of today's workshop, we will be analyzing the real term sheet, anonymized, as we do, but a real term sheet. It consists only of 4 clean A4 papers with a very straight wording. But the most important points are actually here. Emil, maybe you can distribute the paper stuff to our audience. I made a short, very brief glossary, a very brief glossary of the terms and a very brief explanation. I hope that you will need it. Don't look at the first side of this page as for our simulation game. Look at the glossary on the second. So this is the list of the most important term sheet points. Let's briefly talk, if we have some experienced investors in the audience, starting with the very first one, first 3, let's say. Investment amount. Try to give at least one argument why the proper investment amount is beneficiary for founder and good for investor. Let me start. For founder, the proper amount let him achieve the next milestones to start fundraising the next round. So not less and probably not more. For investor, we are going to invest enough money to this company so they can get up to the next round. And once again, we are not going to invest too much. Let's say if one company really needs 100K to achieve their next investment round, we're not going to put 200 in this company in the single investment deal. We can do follow-on later, but not in the same time. And valuation and equity stake offered, we already talked about this a bit. So this is my offer for the first 3, the most important. Now it's your turn. Can you please say something beneficial about tranches and liquidation preferences? Because you know that some tricky investors think, why should I invest 100K immediately? Let's split it into 2 tranches. 50K now, and the next 50, let's say, when you double your revenue, or when you complete your product development and start marketing. This is quite a tricky approach, which may be beneficial for investors and maybe not. So please, can you try to fill these 2 cells?
So for founders, it provides a clear understanding of when you're gonna get the money, so upon which conditions.
Is this beneficial?
Well, it could be beneficial, for example, not to spend everything at once, but to have it in tranches, so you separate your expenses.
Okay.
And it's a benefit for investor because it means that at some point, if it doesn't go well, pull back.
So what? Continue, please.
It minimizes the risk of losing all the money you can.
But in the same time, and not all investors understand, it maximizes maximizes the risk that this company will not be able to raise new money, so it go to bankruptcy, and you lose the first half of your money, actually. So when you are trying to secure some extra money, you will be losing the first half. And this is quite an often situation. I saw it not one, not two times, but actually much more. Let's try what my predictions. You know that I really tried. I see nothing beneficial under these three conditions, nothing beneficial to founder. All the actual benefits goes to investors. More important that if the things will go well, the next round investors will be not very satisfied with some points and aspects you put before into this deal. And some of provisions will be renegotiated by the next next prospective investor, or maybe somehow renegotiated with the group of early stage investors, including the founder. The last but not least, voting rights and board representation. Can I ask how many of you experienced angels have board seats in your portfolio companies? How many? Carly, myself, Andrei, and more? Armand, sorry. Actually, I'm not satisfied with this situation because it's not my intention to sit on a supervisory board. I'm quite okay with the advisory board, so I can understand what's going on and give some advice in case the founders directly ask for this advice. But if not, it's their business. They are trying to do something significant in this world.
With your money. With your money.
Unfortunately, yeah, with our money. That's the part of this game. We cannot do anything with this. And some closing, still very important provisions. Let's start with the final one, no shop clause. When you and startup founder signs the term sheet, it means, in most cases, two things. First, term sheet is not binding, so you're not obliged to fulfill all the points and sign the deal. But if you're going to sign the deal, you have to keep all the agreed under the term sheet. In most cases, only two provisions are binding. No shop for founder. That means that negotiations with other prospective venture capitalists are locked. In most cases for 30 days, for 1 month. And during this time, this founder should not negotiate with other venture capitalists. For what reason? For what reason? Mm-hmm. To make extra pressure on the founder. That's our real reason. Because this founder understands that maybe some stuck in negotiations on some very special clauses inside the investment agreement. And we say, we are insist on this. And founder understands that he spent 3 weeks, 21 days in negotiation with us, and he also lost this time with the other prospective investor.
Wouldn't that be more like a venture capital fund? Getting a lot
Yeah.
of these, as an angel,
Exactly.
I have achieved very little of those, and even achieving those, I
Yes.
wouldn't have utilized them.
I jumped it a level up a bit. Sorry, to be precise once again, term sheet like this is for seed plus. In most cases, it is not for pre-seed, ultra early stage deals. But I'm not still there enough to still keep investing in pre-seed deals for the next 12 months. That's my personal opinion. It's not beneficial for most business angels. It will not be beneficial for us during the next year. Maybe starting from the beginning of 2025, but not in 24. What I can ask you as a homework, try to think about this table as benefits for both sides, and try to feel for yourself the same table, understanding the threats. So what could go wrong if you too insist on excessive liquidation preference or trying to divide your investment into 3 or more tranches, something like that? What can go wrong, actually? And for this purpose, I want to propose you a quick simulation game. Very simple, very straight, not very Latvian style, but I hope that you will love this. Emil, can you please assist me? I have a pile of cards. I have 3 jokers. I want to give those 3 jokers to the 3 most experienced business angels in this room. You are the special team. Armand, you are the second, please. And who will be the third? Vadim, that's for you. All others, please keep your card and understand what team you are playing for. We will have only 4 teams. You are not going to fight with each other. Only 4 teams. Founders, 1 and 2, and investors, 1 and 2. For those who are not going to participate, no problem. Just take your card and take some coffee, take some snacks. No problem. We have enough people in this room. What will be the task? The task. Tech startup from Europe at seed plus stage. Already invested by a group of business angels. Special disclaimer, we will not be talking about business details of the startup. This is modeling case to model exactly the deal structure and deal negotiations. So in this case, you will not see any details about business model, traction, and so on. Just understanding of the deal structure. So you are getting into negotiations. Founder's position, $500,000 at 4.5 million pre-money valuation. No liquidation preference for investors. No voting rights and board representation. Your counteroffer as investors. Convertible loan at significantly lower valuation cap, including discount. Describe liquidation preference and board representation, and 30 days no-shop provision. Now I ask you, for those who are still playing, who get the aces? Can you raise your hands? Which one? So the red founding team with Arkady. Please group around him. Second ace. Who've got? Okay. Which one? So you are the next team. Please split from Arkady's team a bit. And try to find your teammates. 2 other investor teams. 2 more aces. You, please take all the people with the spades cards. You will be discussing the investment team 1. And the last one, the second team of investors. Emil, I need your assistance.
There should be another ace.
Even if not, just 5 minutes, please divide into 4 teams and try to fulfill the ask in your paper sheets. Guys, ladies and gentlemen.
The ask in the next page, yes?
The ask is here and in your papers. Let's keep it very, very simple and fit into 5 minutes. Dear friends, we have at least 1 minute, but not more. Please finalize your takeaways and please decide who from your team will be presenting the result. I can give you 2 minutes to present your results in a clear, straight way. Which team is ready? Red ones, founders. Are you ready? Yes. Who will be presenting? Come on stage, please. Come here. People, your time is counting. Founders.
Yeah, just one?
Sergey, please.
Come on, I
Okay,
remember all
because you know that the microphone is on my suit, so
No, okay.
people, founding team is defending their investment offer. Please give us the arguments that your offer is fair for both sides, and this led the deal to the win-win situation. Come on.
Okay, so we start with the end about voting rights. So we noticed that investor you want to get to have a representation. We're not giving representation because it's like our policy, and we already have previous investors on board. So if you would like to have, it kind of would not be fair to previous investors, which means that we would need to give them kind of representation on the board as well, which will make a lot of chaos in the company.
Okay.
Number one, we are not really into going for convertibles because we believe that the company will be booming, and obviously the risk, we believe your risk will not be high.
Okay, and?
That's why you will win if you go for the full stake rather than for...
Not me, investors.
You're not investing.
I'm just a workshop leader.
To convince you, yeah.
Okay, so.
Additionally, past valuation, angels will have a 10% stake in the company, which is good.
Good point. Okay, exactly the same argumentation I heard in the real negotiation during this case. Exactly, word to word. So I kindly ask you, the first team of investors, give their opposite counter offer. Who is ready? You can take your seats. Thank you so much. I hope that you will close this deal. First team of investors, the black ones, who is ready to present a counter offer? Two humble investors. It's not from the real case. Come on, at least one, please.
So we would like to propose that we actually have a place on the board based on the quality of our investors, the quality of funders, the quality of our CEOs, and of our experience. So we understand your business, we know what you're doing, we can help you this way, that way, in sales, in marketing, in all kinds of ways. And we will be contributing some time to this venture, so we would like to sit on the board and make important decisions, so block some of the mistakes that might happen.
Our previous success and the previous investments where we had the same representation definitely stands for the willingness of this decision and for the positives this decision will bring.
And you still insist on convertible with such kind of low valuation cap. Can you argument this point?
Well, we recently acquired Chandra Manga as our advisor, so he told us to do it. And we cannot go any further.
So you are calling the authority. Don't remember the exact.
Out of the information provided.
Yes, but actually you don't limit it to the provided information, because in real negotiations you can use everything you want. Good point. Are you done? Was it there, from your point, side question, a real argumentation or just the process of convincing?
The process of convincing.
Yeah. Side note number 2, let's not mix the convincing and argumenting your point.
We argument that we have to specialize in the field of founders.
But what you can really say is limited. You're an expert in the field. You have some people on board.
Okay.
You can provide extra competence.
Okay.
You can provide extra funding. You can solve some of the problems outside of the box. What else can you really provide?
We can, of course, discuss the evaluation and get into some numbers, but I guess in the current situation and in the amount of data we're given, it will be more like imagining rather than relying on the actual data, because we have no actual data. It's like the argument that can go both ways. What we can add to the argumentation, we think that the 30 days of non-stop provision that we have asked for is significantly less that you would get on the market. And the fact that we only ask for 30 days means that we are convinced that we'll close this deal in 30 days. and we go forward.
Okay.
We are ready to go.
Great
as fast
point.
as we can.
It's more looks like an argumentation, but the provided facts are wrong, and the experienced founder will catch you very quickly on this lie. Thank you so much. Round of brief applause. Who was, just one question, simple. Who was more, let's say, logically argumented their position? Founders or investors in this case?
Investors.
Okay, different opinions as in a real life. Second pair, the team of founders number 2, please. 2 minutes, not more. Second founding team, who is ready? Arkady.
So, gentlemen, what do we have? We have only 2 opportunities to grow after this investment. So, basically, if we are talking about growing after the next round, so then we see that the valuation of 2.5 million, which was proposed by investors, is will have a negative effect.
Stop. The rule is not criticizing the opposite offer.
Will
Just
not-
argumenting
will
your
be-
own
yeah,
with a
okay.
positive attitude.
We need to send the positive right signals in the market.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we are valuing our company at 4.5 million. And if you don't believe that that's the value of the company, then maybe it's not the deal for you.
Great point.
On another hand, we are offering the straight equity, after investment,
Mhm.
because we may not be willing to go into the next round
Mhm.
of investments. And so we believe that this will be enough for us to achieve the current plans that we
Mhm.
have, and this will convert into another type of earnings for investors.
Okay,
Like a cash cow model.
good point.
So, on a stance on liquidation preferences, we would say that if a company has a good reporting itself, and if a company, which we believe our company has,
Mhm.
so then there's no significant need, and if we convince investors, to recognize us as the good company, so there is no need as the vision, and the less people, and the more people are, the more experienced are the people in the board which have founded the business and which are leaving the business. So we will try to explain that we have the right competences
Okay.
to rule the company ourselves.
I think the time is up. Please
Yes.
stay on stage. And I want to invite the second investors team. Please try to argument your position to these brilliant teams of founders. Who is ready? The second investors team. They give up and don't want to close this deal with those brilliant founders. No argumentation. And in this case, quite a real case. You are brilliant, but your investors sucks. That's all.
They are founders, but they just realized that they are investors.
No problem. Thank you. You lost the deal, but keep your confidence in your future business. Thank you. So, what about the Jokers team? I forget to provide them instructions. They reminded me about this. So please, who can, from the Jokers team, to construct this model deal as the win-win situation? So lower down the extra high expectations from both sides and try to balance this deal as a win-win. Vadim? Come on, please. My microphone for the audience online is on my
They
suit.
pushed me from
So,
here. I'm not experienced,
Okay.
but
How to fix these not so tough negotiations?
from my experience, first, investment ask, I would offer convertible loan, which would be locked on the period of conversion or the factical value. So that means that if the company achieves promise, let's say within 1 year, I promise to convert it
At what
into
valuation?
stake.
At what valuation?
At valuation, that's a good point.
Not decided yet. Okay.
Well, at valuation, which would be acceptable for both, because somewhere in the middle, I guess. let's say. But the main I mean,
Real
the main-
consultant style. Yeah. Okay, agreed.
All right, but we didn't make any calculations.
Okay.
So that's the first, let's say, mediation of the situation, right?
Let's quickly move to the second and third points. What do you think about liquidation preference? Should you grant it to investors or not? Still thinking. It's a kind of a lawyer. No answer now. Right now, I will have to think about it and answer
He's on
you.
the clock when he's thinking. So
Agreed. Agreed.
Like the doctors.
So,
Yes. Yes. I would-
can you agree with the no-shop provision? Is this fair for both sides?
Definitely, yes.
Are you sure? So you are playing on the side of investors, not between
Kind of, yes.
first and second.
From my own experience,
Maybe
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but for me, it would be very necessary to make a structure for a convertible loan which locked
Agreed.
on the period or
Round of very brief applause, because it maybe not was as good as expected, because we lost one team of our investors, disappeared quietly. No problem. Let's check the real life example of this deal. You see that I tried to anonymize all that can, let's say, show what it was the actual deal. Almost. I left intentionally the real numbers because it is important. You see that the most important provisions are on the first and the second page out of 4. In this case, you can photo those slides, this one and the second one, because it won't be provided in your PDF. It's just to be shown on screen right now. So it is very, very simple. Lead investor takes the slightly more than 51% of the entire amount during this investment round. This is the first priced round for the company. All previous were the convertible loans and safe agreements. This term sheet is quite fair to the founder, because you know that having 2x liquidation preference is not fair. And some guys even offer 2x participating liquidation preferences in the United States, and those guys are definitely not fair investors. In LiquPrefs, the fair deal is 1x non-participating. So investors get back their money or get their shares acquired by the buyer, let's say. 2 next points. You see that we didn't discuss during our conversation the very important provisions about vesting and who is good and who is bad liver. This provision, reverse vesting, means that direct vesting is you start owning as a founder your shares by time. Reverse vesting is quite similar. You have the same amount of shares from the very beginning, but if you leave, you will lose the proportional share of your shares. Sorry for repeating this. And those shares may go to the next C-level executives in this company or back to investors, something like that. Only two pages there and 2 pages here. You see that the cost of lawyers goes from whom pocket? From investors or from founder? The company. Investors pays his lawyers 25,000 or maybe even less, maybe 5,000. But those money will be deducted from the investment amount. And nothing special here, but the next slide. This is the list of early stage investors that were converted during this priced round. You see that 44 different people, institutions, business angels, and different guys, doesn't matter what, once again, they were investing during convertibles. What are the takeaways? We're under pressure of time, so very brief takeaways. After this investment round, please know that it is still not a Series A. It's still kind of seed plus, based on valuation and based off the invested amount. Founders own significantly less than 50%. Employee stock option, reserved amount of shares to be distributed between the early stage employees or C-levels at the late rounds when the founders step down and the C-level manager with Cambridge MBA start ruling this company. Early stage investors, SAFE and CLA 18% and priced round investors exactly 20%. But what surprised me when I saw this, that early stage investors put 2 million in total and their current valuation is just 2.7. So the multiplier of sitting in this company from the very beginning is actually less than 1.5. It is okay, it is averaged. So the real range is for the very early investors 3.3, their paper earnings. And for the later convertible investors, 1.25. What can you say about this deal? About the future of this company and its investability during the A round? Come on. No one knows about what company we're talking about. Only 2 persons in this audience know. And I kindly ask you, this second person, not to express your understanding, okay? What do you think about this deal? Good?
Founders have lost too much of their shares because it's the seed round and they're owning only 46%. So
Agreed.
the next ones will come.
Okay.
And B round they will be left with about 5%. So
Agreed.
there will be no interest.
So they lose too much equity too early. Agreed.
That is also just a little comment on the exercise that if you give away your company at too cheap, then you risk not only losing the company, but you also automatically make yourself less vulnerable for next investors. So next investors simply do not have any shares left to buy from the next
So both you and me can say that from our perspective, this deal is not very good.
No, not really.
Yeah, because it's early investment, 2 million is too big. Or
I don't know the reason why it is in this situation. I'm just trying to forecast the future of this company and the next deals. I'm not criticizing the past. So can you... Yeah.
Because maybe there is also one potential other problem. You have reserved 16% for employees. So it means that the company doesn't have enough employees as of now, or the budget for them has not been sufficiently collected. So you actually depend
I got the point.
on employees, which probably means that the company is labor intensive in terms of breaks.
I got the point.
So you got the risk as well.
But actually, it's quite a common situation. At the Series A round, all the VCs will definitely request to reserve the employee stock option at least 15% and before the investment. So they will not be diluted immediately with this employee stock option plan. Okay, so time is up. I hope that you already take something valuable from today's workshop. What to expect? Emil, should we make an announcement about November 21 right now?
After the break, by all means.
Okay. Brief pitch session of 4 startups. 2 Latvian, 1 from Estonia, but founded by Ukrainian guys. Venture dinner 150 meters away from our venue. some wine and unlimited pizza. They promised it, and they fulfill their promise. Next Tuesday, we were invited by Unilab, the RTU University pre-accelerator, okay, to perform a mentorship session for those residents. It might be very interesting. And TSI, you should think about something the same, and we can help you with this, as promised. And the first announcement, our last event for the 2023 should be really grand event, because we will close the workshop series. I really want to present you the very interesting, really interesting simulation game, my own, not invention, it's based on the Harvard case, but very specially tailored to the Eastern European situation for us. Many guests from abroad, from early stage venture funds, and some of them will be pitching us because they are fundraising money to their next funds, and they will be asking for our support and to contribution as a limited partner. Maybe we are not going to do this, maybe yes, I don't know, but it's interesting to hear about their achievements, what they already did, and with what result. And as promised, once again, Pullman Hotel, good dinner, networking, some music, and that's all. Thank you so much. Short break.
So by starting off, we have Alina from RTU and Unilab representing a really good opportunity for you as angels to mentor the next generation of founders.
You didn't switch on the microphone.
Or it is switched on me now.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so it is switched for me, I believe.
It should be, yes.
Yeah. Okay then. Hi everyone. Hi, my name is Alina, and I am a representative of Riga Technical University Science and Innovation Center. And today here I'm also representative of Unilab, leading national deep tech university incubator that is developed jointly by Riga Technical University and Latvian University. And these are already 2 science universities out of 4. So currently we're also developing the collaboration further, and hopefully next year it will be the major university incubator developed among all 4 science universities in Latvia. So I'm here today just to address you personally and also invite you on the 21st of November to join us for the speed dating with our teams. Let me introduce you to the teams a bit more. Hopefully some of them will catch your interest, and you will also be happy to speed date them and see what are they doing and get to know them firsthand. So Unilab Incubator is like a pre-acceleration program which is developed during 4 months. It is a training where we identify those early stage teams straight out of the university and also from the research labs. So we identify this new technologies, research to business potential projects, and train the teams during 5 months to help them identify market potential, train their pitching skills, learn how to develop the team, and also what to expect from the investor side and what is expected from them. So already during 2 years, we had 4 batches with 25 plus alumni teams graduating. And among such alumni is, like I have just put here, 3 examples. as for example, Be Detect, skin cancer detection team, which continued after the Unilab to the commercialization reactor and secured their first investment there. This is Fungi Future, grows mycelium material for fashion mannequins in order to make this fashion sector more sustainable. So they also continued and secured their first investment from the Build It Accelerator. And maybe, yeah, the recent very interesting team is Submerge Baltic, or the electronics students, very young two guys, bright talents, who are developing underwater drones specifically for the Baltic Sea water, who already secured the contract or the collaboration with our police departments to help them in identifying what's underwater, help in rescuing work, and also have first insights and collaboration into the international market. And they are only 24 years old, as well as secured investment from the Build It Accelerator. So with this, I just wanted to kind of give you a sense that definitely all those startup teams who later continue in other programs, they come from the university, like those technologies, and we try to identify them early on, and we also offer you an access to them and good collaboration with us to talk, to identify them like at the very beginning. So at the moment we are closing the batch 5, where we have 9 high potential teams who will be pitching. The demo day is planned at the end of November, but what we are offering you to join us and to check yourself, to talk with the teams on the 21st of November at Riga Technical University Science and Innovation Center during this kind of short speed dating and meet them personally. Just to give you a glimpse what kind of teams we have, because the profile is very different from investment tech to green tech and also some defense technologies. For example, the BB team is streaming the IT employee recruitment or developing the platform for smart solutions for hiring in the IT sector, where it is obviously a gap. And they already, during the program, talked with industry and validated that such need exists, so they're moving on. In Victa Vecto, they're developing advanced drone technology for the defense sector. Swikart is a team based on research developed in Riga Technical University Material Excellence Center, which is SWED-based, non-invasive diagnostics tool for modernizing the health monitoring, which is also like, this is like research to business opportunity. ChipMed is a team developing microfluidics chips for 3D bioprinting, and they are working towards advancing the artificial organ creation sector. And few more as AI-powered innovation due diligence, working in the sector of investors, actually helping to identify or analyze faster and smarter the due diligence and the opportunities for investment. Positive Homes, this is a team who work with sustainable materials, but also looking now at the opportunity of building modular houses and selling the houses. Develop Nature is a profit-focused tourism object evaluation platform, and they do the precise analysis for tourist investment returns in different regions of Latvia and also abroad. Then the team who is in very interesting cultural sector, the team from the University of Latvia, preserving cultural heritage with advanced scanning and virtual reality technology. And the NutriMed Connect, this is the team building on the health management trend and developing an app would also help people to to monitor their well-being based on the food preferences they have and nutrition and gut health and also the medicine that they are prescribed. So yeah, these are 9 teams. I hope some of them catch your attention and you could join us to meet them in person on 21st of November in Riga Tech.
Thank you.
Next Tuesday. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, now we will start the official pitch session. We have 4 startups, as you already know. And the first one, we have Gint, who is representing Valid AI, which is a employee well-being platform that assesses their mental and physical well-being.
Something like that.
Yes. Okay.
Give me a second to start recording.
Что я комбинацию выкладываю.
Hi everyone. As mentioned, I'm Gint. I'm the co-founder of Wellify. So when we started this company, we did 50 plus interviews. I knew there's a problem in the market, but I wanted to validate with industry experts and companies. We did a lot of interviews in trying to understand what exactly is the problem and how to validate and how to solve it. So employees are experiencing burnout, emotional outbursts, reduced job satisfaction. You can see low productivity and engagement, frequent sick leaves, and in the end, that increases employee costs for the employer. So our solution is a well-being platform that improves employee physical, mental, and productivity outputs through AI-powered well-being buddy in the messaging app of their choice. Let's dive into that. But right before that, we are a team of 6 people. There are 3 co-founders. So me, a CEO, we have a CTO and a physiotherapist. We have 2 mental well-being specialists and 1 psychologist and well-being specialist, and also a UX UI designer. So we have a quite vast industry expertise in both business development, physical aspect, and also mental well-being. About the product, the first stop is pre-onboarding and onboarding. So companies create easy drag and drop onboarding experience for their employees. Why we included this is because it highly improves the well-being of the employees, and also it takes the employer or our user to the next step. So they are more educated about their well-being. They understand what's happening and how to improve it, and that takes them to the tailor-made well-being plan. They fill out 2 surveys about their physical health and their mental health. AI generates a clear action plan on what to improve, gives them scores, and promotes their well-being through the plan. And once that is done, an AI-powered chatbot in the messaging app of your choice, Telegram or WhatsApp in these instances, becomes your well-being buddy. You communicate it with throughout daily. You send them messages, so input data to get the progress reviews on how far you're going with your tasks or habits, and you also get information from that bot from the information that we have provided to it. So it builds trust, and also it's just a good place to track and communicate. And also we are implementing a gamified experience. So whenever you fill out the survey, you choose an animal of your liking or your digital avatar. In the beginning, it's a small puppy or a kitten or a small tiger. And then once you do all the things that you're meant to do by the plan, the tiger or the kitten grows and is thankful and expresses his happiness. If you don't go out for a run, for example, if you don't get enough water intake and so on, that avatar sends you a message saying that it's sad, it's not hydrated enough, it's not feeling energetic, and so on. And this way, we're increasing the retention of our users. So they keep coming back and they want to actually improve their well-being by helping the avatar. And also we provide well-being insights through that. At the moment, we have signed 3 LOIs. 5 companies we have in the contacts. 2 of them are not finalized yet, but 3 of them are signed. With that being said, we don't have the project or the product yet. We are launching our MVP in the 2 weeks' time. But these 3 companies have expressed their willingness to pay for the product and also whenever it's ready to use it. Well-being workplace industry is super crowded. I think everyone knows that here. We are competing with some of them, but now really our main advantage is the AI and the chatbot because it doesn't provide you to go to a new third-party software or app or something. It's something in your phone that you use every single day. So it just helps, and plus it's 24/7 because the AI is always there, and the gamified experience definitely helps. We have narrowed down 2 of our target companies or target markets, tech companies and high-stress industries. We are reaching out to HR managers, well-being specialists, and CEOs. We are testing it in Latvia, then moving to UK because we already have a partner who's ready to sell our product once it's ready, and we have experience in the UK, and then Europe, and then globally after that. We are B2B2C company, software as a service, so selling software to a client, and then monthly payments for early users is $4.99 an employee a month. But it probably will be increased later on if the full bundle is active. The fundraising needs, we are looking for 500K, mostly because fundraising is hard. I think everyone knows that. With this money, we'll be able to set our launch to UK and Europe to develop our product and hire team mostly. Most of the money will be spent for development because we need to invest heavily on animations because that builds trust for our product, and then marketing costs as well and sales. That's it from me today. I hope it was 5 minutes.
Yep, thank you. Questions from the audience?
Can you tell more about certification?
What type of certification?
About this product. This is what I'm asking to you, actually.
Yeah.
What type of certification is needed for this product?
At the moment, the only concerns we might have is about the surveys to get out information from the users. When it comes to companies, we might have some certification needed to actually, for example, get medical history of employees and so on. But in B2C sector, that doesn't really apply to us. In that case, we just sign terms and agreements.
Are you sure it's not a medical device?
No, it's not a medical device now.
It gives recommendations.
It gives recommendations, but based on AI. So whenever someone applies to our software or uses our product, signs the terms and conditions saying that this is not a medical advice. We don't take you to use these drugs or this and that. We just give our advice, and then in most of the cases, for example, if there's a message saying that I'm stressed out, I'm in the verge of burnout, the AI also messages saying that you should be looking for a professional with this situation. We might still look more into that because maybe that is something that we have missed, but so far we haven't had issues with that.
So the same questions if you ask on ChatGPT, just generally, how is it different?
Yeah, well, at the moment, actually, the first MVP, the video that I showed there, it is OpenAI's machine learning algorithms, but we are training them for our specific needs. So we have our own database that provides information about workplace well-being and things like that. It's a lot more specific. It does remember your data from the surveys that you filled out, so it knows your title, what do you work, how much do you, how active are you in general, and also has your medical history probably, and just provides a more specified data and based around our database.
Can you tell a bit more about your timeline for MVP and for the sales revenue you're planning to generate in
Yeah.
a period of time?
So the MVP should be launched in 2 weeks' time. Well, technically should be launched now, but we had some delays in that aspect. But the next deadline, final deadline, is in 2 weeks' time. Once that is done, we give it to the 3 customers that we're using. For the first month, we're not asking any money or collecting any money from them. But if we sign those 2 more contracts, which are on the way, then in 3 months' time, our MRR would be around 2K a month. And that's with those 5 customers. And we're testing them out, trying to fix all of the bugs that we have there. And then in next 3 months' time, we should implement the bug fixes that we have got. And then we're starting to get more clients in. Yeah.
Is there any longer term MRR prognosis that you have?
Well, I do have a forecast. I'm interested to share you in detail once we have a follow-up call. We do have it, but at the moment, since we don't have the feedback from the first users, we don't necessarily already know what could be the final price for all of the bundle that we provide. So at this point, I couldn't probably give you a precise enough forecast. But we are trying to break even in the first year.
One question.
How will you validate that the product actually works?
We're just giving it out to people to see how it works. For example, when the tests come in, you fill out the test for your physical and mental health, and then every quarter you fill out the same test, and then that test should generate showing if you've improved your health or you haven't improved your health. That's pretty much our main validation.
Real objective measures, or more just that the customers don't continue using it?
No, there will be objective measures. Those measures are developed by our team. So, for example, a physiotherapist who uses them every single day with his patients, and that's just a benchmark that we're going to put together every quarter to see if they improve.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Next up, we have Uldis representing Spokaboo, which is a sports competition marketplace where you can find your favorite activities and register to them.
Test. Okay, hi everyone. So my name is Uldis. I'm a founder of Spokaboo. I'm an avid sports person, but I'm also an IT professional. And this in turn makes me become very kind of more and more frustrated with each year about the state that amateur sports is in terms of technology and in terms of the service and user experience that is provided. So what I mean by that, let's see it at an example. So let's say that you're a runner and you joined a growing sport of trail running and you want to participate in a competition. So let's say it's a small country like Latvia, Latvian market. So in order for you to see what races are around, probably build your racing calendar or just look for any race that you want to compete, you would have to visit and follow about 10 different race organizers and regularly visit their websites or follow them on social media so that you would get the information about their events. And it's even worse when it comes to race registration and the payment services. So these websites are built in different ways. Usually they do not provide any payment solutions, so there's a cumbersome procedure that you go through, or sometimes they're just very uneasy to use and untrustworthy, right? And this is generally because most of those races are organized by very small organizations or maybe individuals who just love the sport, but they don't have the resources or the training or technical expertise to maintain these complicated solutions and to reach wider audiences. So yeah, and all this kind of brings us to the situation that the amateur sports field is very fragmented. It's very hard for athletes to actually, and takes a lot of effort to find events, to register to them, and to find kind of a trustworthy ways to register and do the payments. So our solution to this is a marketplace for sports competitions, which would save considerable time for the athlete in terms of finding the events and building their own race calendar and engaging with the organizers. And in turn, for organizers, that would allow them to manage their sports competitions through the whole life cycle, and also provide a better service and grow their organizations and grow the sports in general. How we do that, we already have a product that allows a basic functionality, meaning search of the events across Baltic states. The search is at the moment done considering your preferences in a very specific, we build a very branched sports discipline tree. So based on your preferences on sports, on the organizers if you follow some, on the locations and on the distances as well. Our aim is now to engage with local communities so that we reach out to the sports people, to the athletes, gather some feedback, meanwhile building a little bit more automation into it so that they would in turn be able to actually build the calendars automatically based on the preferences of the sportsmen. Also, in the same time, we are restarting conversations with organizations. We've already previously talked with several race organizers with cycling and running and some federations as well. So we will be restarting these conversations so that we would start onboarding B2B businesses as well. Our vision actually includes quite a lot of functionality on both areas in athletes and organizers so that the tool actually integrates with different complementing tools in the industry, be it those event publishing tools or sports tracking software or stuff like that, social interactions, communication, notifications, and a lot of other features. Our business model is based on collecting transactions fees. So basically that would be at first the registration fees, might be membership fees for some clubs, sports licensing fees, and sometimes later we are looking to introduce also some subscription tiers for event organizers for additional premium functionality on the site. For the market, this one is very kind of far-fetched or cloudy because amateur sports is not the kind of the fruit that or the area that a lot of would be looking into. It's so there are very little research and very little data. Based on our own investigation and data that we have locally and kind of using some data that we have from similar service providers from the USA, we have extrapolated that in case we cover, for example, 10% of the event registration fees in Europe alone, that would generate around 200 million in revenue. But you can take it with a grain of salt. So what's our competition? As I already mentioned, so there are some players in America. However, there are no widespread names that would be known globally that would provide the service, equally good service for the organizers and for the athletes. Yeah, right. So the biggest names here are those are in America, but they are usually mostly concentrated on a B2B solutions and offering very little benefit to the athletes themselves in terms of able to be fined and manage their calendars. There are some that provide a better experience for the athletes. However, they are usually very limited to either one region or maybe a country or something like that, or they only cover specific sports, just a few sports, and thus kind of also lack this kind of complementary service. Yeah, so we're looking to cover, it's ambitious to say everything, all of that, but this is kind of our goal. This is where we see this benefit of such tool and to be able to engage all of the community. At the moment, as I said, we already have a product which is not actually advertised yet, but the beta version is live. We've collected events already from the whole Baltic area in several sports in about 30 different sports disciplines and growing it daily. Our team has so far worked aside of our daily jobs. So there, as you see from the pictures, the co-founders are all very into sports and also have a big IT experience. And at the moment, we are looking to move the part of the team at least full-time. So we're looking for investment to grant the positions and to be able to launch the paid services in time for the summer when it comes, when the sports season starts. That's it, I guess. Thank you.
just a compliment. The problem really exists.
Thank you. I will write this as a validation of the No question.
So how do you plan actually to consolidate all events in Europe? Just for curiosity.
Yeah, so
How it works.
yeah, at the moment, so
The reservation, because right now problem exists.
yeah.
How do you solve it?
So the idea is, as in marketplace, so we need to get the organizers to publish their events from themselves, right? But as it's like the chicken egg problem, as it is with all marketplaces, how to get both of them on the platform so that it go running. So what we have started, and this is our kind of initial vision, is that we have started to gather the event information ourselves. We put it into that database, and we want to attract the users. Once the users come and the organizers see that there are more users that they can cover themselves, that should be able kind of and justification enough for them to also start coming here and publishing their events. Also, it's all because some of those, as I said, do not use the tools, do not have the registration, do not have the payments. And by introducing functionality for organizers that's interesting to them, we're also kind of looking to attract them.
But this means you are going to do a lot of integrations, right?
As well.
Payment you are going to.
Yeah. But I mean, the payment, we would make a payment service that's ours, and then, of course, that just the organization comes and we collect the payments. We do not send them already through kind of different organizations. We collect for the arrays and then kind of have the, I don't know, transfers or settle them with the organizers afterwards, yeah.
Still a lot of manual work, right?
Initially, of course, yeah.
What kind of sports will be included?
So at first we are targeting the general idea, and the idealistic idea is would cover everything. Everything that a normal person, like any one of us, can apply to. So not include very specific limited professional sports, but those that everyone can apply to. But initially, so that there's less complexity, we are looking to start with individual sports, where you as an individual participate, and then growing that into also team sports and other different combinations that might come. And surely we are starting with the ones that are most popular. Of course, there's more competition as well, because all of those solutions also target these, like running, cycling, swimming. But this is how you get the wheels going.
One last question.
The business model, are you only about to charge the users, or when there will be enough pool of users, you are also targeting to charge the competition organizers?
Yeah, so the subscription tiers were actually targeted for the race organizers. So that's the idea, that there would be some customization options, some additional features, premium stuff that they can do on the site that would probably put their events higher somewhere, or a lot of, I will not go into detail about all of the ideas that we have, but that would be on the organizational side. Actually, the transaction fees is also not yet solved. I mean, it might be that they're taken from the organizational part, or it might be that it's charged on top of the.
For users, it's going to be free?
In general, yeah, that's the idea.
We're out of time, unfortunately. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Next up, we have Yegor, who's representing Fintellect, which is an all-in-one financial planning and automations tool.
All right. How do I do this?
Just click it.
All right.
Check. All right.
All right. Thank you. Hi, my name is Yegor. I'm here to tell you how we help small B2B service companies get more profits while doing less finances. I used to have this kind of companies. We were software developers, and we had clients all around the world, and we had a nice revenue. But it was because we didn't know the profitability of each client and each project. We kept on adding the contract that didn't bring company any money. And eventually, this is why we turned bankrupt. And if only I had the financial expertise, that would never happen. And it's not only about my company. There's millions of those firms in EU, and only 4% of them have any sort of financial expert. Sorry, can we move this up a little bit? Yeah, super. So imagine, single most important thing for the business, money, doesn't meet anybody who's taking care of it. And this is the reason for the profit drain. So 80% of the project have wrong price quote. The price that you tell to the client in the contract is not real. It's a guess. It's made up. 20% of the projects get below profitable. So once you start working, once you start delivering, you don't earn from that. And it's around 600 hours that are spent for repeatable financial tasks that should be automated. If you take one company, they under-earn 100K. If you multiply this by the number of companies in the market, you get the multi-billion problem. This is why we are delivering Fintellect, streamlined finance platform for small B2B services only. We're the company of the guys who used to own these companies, like me and Daniel, and also guys who used to work as developers for those companies, like Eugene, Paolo, and Bogdan. So we have both necessary expertise and experience needed to deliver. We also have a kick-ass advisory board that we got from Berkeley Skydeck Acceleration Program. These bright minds help us to avoid common fails that first-time startup founders always do, so we don't. Now, this is the current state of things. This is what companies are using. Bunch of spreadsheets, the project management software, the banking data that doesn't really get together and causes the profit loss. With Fintellect, we streamline data from timesheets, banking APIs, and CRM, turn them to financial insights, and make sure the profit loss is eliminated. So it's 100% corrected project price quotes because we base it on most accurate data from the company. It's around 3 minutes that is needed to deliver this price quote compared to days in the manual mode. And we save up to 10K project margin on average. It's also 400 hours that we save because we automate things that are repeating and that are in fact simple. And you only need 5 seconds to check which project invoices have been paid or to see your correct cash flow statement. Now, as the investors, you're probably wondering, where's the AI feature? Short answer, it's coming up next year. We are fine-tuning the LLM to help companies like our clients for whom it's too early and too expensive to get the CFO in person, get the virtual assistant that will make sense out of the finances. So there are apps in SME finances. Usually they are much more generic, so they don't deliver on the functional of project pricing calculation, on real-time profitability tracking, and on team billable rates. We are the only ones to do. And also, we are much more easy to integrate for the small company compared to corporate software black boxes. This market is a dark horse, so the companies like our clients do not report that much as the SaaS business or e-commerce business, but we estimate the obtainable share of 200 million plus in EU and US. So our go-to-market has 3 parts. It's communities, this would be professional clubs and associations, the outbound, and partnerships with complementary solutions they already use. We integrate with their APIs, but we also have mutual referrals for the customers. We have subscription SaaS, so we have light version, Pro plan with bit of support and data migration help, and the custom plan with external APIs and tweaks we can do on top. We're not talking concepts, we have traction. We went live around 3 weeks back, so it's 29 paying customers who enjoy Fintellect at the moment. We are having more in 2 weeks trial. We have the pipeline of sales qualified leads, and we have 2 LOIs with mid-sized companies that we expect to sign by the end of the year. So we're currently raising 400K. That will get us to 25K MRR approximately. And we just got a term sheet for 100K last week. So happy to make this complete. Join us for the world where you need to do less finances to get more profits. Thank you.
Questions?
May I start with the first one, please?
Please.
This is a brilliant presentation of WebWare. How many funds you already raised from Berkeley, Skydeck, and early stage investors?
So the Berkeley Skydeck was 145K. It's standard acceleration fee for the companies in European batch. We didn't have anybody who would be an investor before that, so we finished a couple of equity programs, and before that we bootstrapped for a while.
And you actually are incorporated in Estonia?
Yeah, we are.
And physically located?
We're all in different parts of Europe, so Ukraine, Spain, Germany.
Okay, so where your most desirable clients and customers are residing?
So we have 40% of early customers from Ukraine. That's natural, mostly organic, because we come from that industry. Aside from that, we have users from Baltics, UK, and Poland. So mostly we target the countries where you have the outsourcing hubs, where the B2B services are booming, like web development, software development, design and creative services. And this would be, Baltics, Poland, and some companies are split in between like UK and Estonia, UK, Estonia, Ukraine, both like client-wise, where the revenue comes from, where they have offices. Yeah, so this kind of combination.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
More questions? Maybe I can ask. I'm just curious, like, 'cause I believe, like, I used to do something similar for family business, and I realized that those Excel sheets, the data usually is so unstructured. So I believe when you try to scale the solution, you will face this problem dealing a lot with the unstructured data. AI won't help you here, probably. How do you imagine this to actually work?
Yeah, indeed.
Scalable way?
Yeah, the thing is that the more you grow, the harder is it to maintain the spreadsheet. It can be the perfect solution if you are a team of 5, but once you get into the team of 50, just having multiple collaborators can affect, this financial spreadsheet, because somebody's going to mess up and it will be hard to know why or restore anything. So basically we get the data to our database. So we fetch data from project management software. What kind of projects do you have? Who is working on them? How many hours? Because this is like essential metric for B2B services. We get the banking data. So AI is just a way to look more faster and flexible into the data that you can see on the dashboard. It's not the silver bullet, but it is the way that you expect data to be delivered to you. And this is actually the way that the CEO of a small company gets the data. So he comes to his project managers or operation seniors, and he's like, so what's going on with receivables? What's going on with my projects? Do we have anything that gets below the expected profit? Any kind of contracts? Any kind of clients? And this can be put into the chat interface. But aside from that, you still need to do things in regular interface. If you want to know how much would it cost for you to deliver this website or this animated video, you'll still use the classic interface.
Okay, we're actually out of time now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Okay, last up, we have Alexandrs, who is representing a company called Argentum Studio, which is a solution that generates computer imagery for production companies, and it actually saves them time.
Sure, thank you. And my co-founder, Germans, with me as well. So, hi, we are Argentum Studio, and we speed up the production of computer-generated imagery. All right. Let's speed it up. So you all seen the video effects in movies. Some of you have probably seen the Love, Death and Robots on Netflix. And these films take huge amount of time to produce. Companies, production studios spend months and years to release them, and they hire staff, and they spend huge budgets. And we, as working in the industry, decided we can change that, and we currently have the solution which speeds up the process 10 times comparing to an average industry standard. So the companies that are our clients are these production studios, as I mentioned, content platforms, and movie producers, and some mobile game developers, anyone who makes these motion and cinematics. The market is growing, and the video content is actually one of the most popular, and people are watching. And currently in 23, it's about 25 billion euros globally, and growing to 43 billion in 2030. We have validated the market, and during the last 3 years, we are doing it ourselves as a studio. So we have spoke to the audience, got feedback. We know it's a problem, and these times and these pipelines are really slow. And we have made our own R&D phase, which proves that it's a problem. So we are planning to provide the software for a subscription plan. It would start at a lower price for an individual seat, but obviously more for an enterprise. But an average plan would be 300 per month. And so the competition is tricky because no one really does it. Unreal Engine, which is like a de facto tool, does it with their own upgrades and with their own features that they release, but they are still unprofessional and they still lacking the speed. So some companies that do an in-house production, they of course doing their own plugins, but they cannot release them to the public, or they're not available for the market. So we are really first who address this, and we are really innovative in this. So this is a good field to see. So we have this 20 people on board besides me and my co-founder, Germans, which is the technical and the CGI specialist. I am a more startup guy in marketing, but we have these 3D artists with us and CGI professionals, which are on board and doing their thing. Two of us are full-time, but those guys are connecting depending on the project and depending on the research we need to make. They are part-time. So we currently have made the progress of releasing an MVP, which is free, and we are releasing partly, which is called the VDB rendering tool, which you can use with Unreal Engine. And we have 120 users who we take feedback as well from to develop the newer version, which we plan to release in the coming quarter. And so we are seeking the 12 months financial to finance the next year of both the development and the go-to-market to approach the client base and to reach 1 million annual revenue in next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't get the point actually of your product. Initially, you said that you are going to revolutionize film production in potential customers, all the big bugs in film industry, spending millions and millions and spending years in doing something. And then you end up suddenly with some piece of something for 300 euro per month. Somehow it doesn't get along, Sorry.
Yeah, it's an average plan. Sure.
300 per month, it's like
Yeah, we were just talking today just about this pricing. Of course, it needs to be finalized, but the first plan per seat would be this. And the team that works...
How can you succeed doing something 10 times faster, and this something is, something in the film industry where the film producer spends months and years and billions?
So the production team consists at least of 10 people, for example, who are paying this 300 per seat. So that costs obviously 3,000 per month. And per project, if it's 10-month project, so it costs them this 30,000.
This is nothing.
Yes, yes. So it's a per seat price. But the enterprise price would be where we connect and we
what is your
help.
product? What is that? What is that miracle that you can do something 10 times faster? Sorry, maybe
Yeah,
I'm slow.
maybe you can tell.
Maybe I'm slow in thinking, but I don't understand.
I can explain. It's 3D film production, and maybe if you know, we just have right now physical rendering tool right now. But last year we have new real-time features, and real-time features can help us to rendering 10 times faster, and we can prove to the world to use Unreal Engine with our tools.
So yeah,
rendering time depends on your computer capacity.
It's true, but if you have a lot of effects and characters and hair and any VFX, you need to really big hardware and
you don't
strong.
need that?
What?
You don't need that to do the same task?
Yes, you can use just one video card like last NVIDIA graphic cards.
Okay, what is know-how of your invention? Is there any know-how? I mean,
yes, it's a proprietary.
Which is worth of something, or it's just pure marketing?
You can work with Unreal Engine like what you see, what you get. You don't need to don't need to try some scenes rendering repeat. Just excuse me. In classic rendering, physical rendering, you need to rendering every picture.
Yeah, so in short, answer is yes, it's proprietary know-how. So it's innovation, how to put together all this process. The pipeline and plugin allows to do that.
So you want to replace real movie making to the picture, or like? I also
not really replace. The process exists. We speed it up with this plugin.
It can help to speed up.
Sorry, I will try to address the same question my colleague was asking. Is it software platform? It's online, offline?
It's soft downloadable software.
Download, right? Who is the customer? Who is the user, let's say?
The studios who are producing the content. So we help them speed up the process.
How it looks?
It looks like currently it is a plugin that you plug into the Unreal Engine. We don't have screenshots right now, but it's an Unreal Engine, which is a software like a de facto tool for the industry. And we are a software currently, a plugin for Unreal Engine.
Sorry for stupid question, but these guys doesn't know anything about what you can do.
They don't know?
Yeah, they know nothing about that, so they cannot. What is your uniqueness in that?
Okay, Netflix tried, I think, 2 times to use Unreal Engine, but we see they have a lot of bugs, and they don't have a pipeline, and R&D like us. We can give a.
We can give an example, and once they try, they will know. So this is again the short answer, I guess.
So, but Unreal Engine is a program that everyone on the market is using to.
Not yet, not everyone.
Right now, Unreal Engine used for game development, but last year, Epic Games want to use for filmmaking too. But Unreal Engine have a lot of bugs, and it's a very bulky software, and we can improve it.
So how can you compete Netflix with your software? Like, why they are not able to do this? You do.
Like, it's very.
There is know-how in.
It's very new because we have right now we have 10 years oldest pipeline, and the studios don't want to try new features with Unreal Engine because it's real-time rendering and too hard to understanding how it works with cinematics, not with game development.
So currently they just hire more people and invest more in this process. So they might spend a few months more and get staff than to solve the problem. But we found the solution to the problem, which is quicker production.
Actually, I'm sorry to do this here.
Sure.
I know that there's a lot of conversations to have, so...
All right, meet us later.
Yes,
we'll be happy.
I just have to ask everyone to join us for the networking part at the
Cool.
Rio on the restaurant and pizza. But yeah, thank you. And
thank you.